here the rest of the night. We're not going to leave until we answer everyone's questions, because I mean, I know I could listen to Erin talk all night. I mean, I love her, and I love her passion, obviously, and she's here to help. But our next speaker is Bob Bocock. Bob, when we put together our team, we identified the best and the brightest in the country, and that's Bob Bocock. Bob Bocock is so well respected by our government, and is so well respected on a national level, that he testified before Congress about PFAS. Okay, this isn't just some random guy who may know a little bit about water. He was the guy that they had come in and testify to our congressional branch of government, right, to our legislative branch to discuss this, and he's the guy whose opinion that they rely on heavily, okay? He's our expert. Again, when I say we got the best and brightest on our team, I cannot emphasize that enough when it comes to Bob Bocock. But to keep us on track, without further ado, if you will all please welcome Bob Bocock.
There we go. Had to do it right there. Okay, I'll get us back on schedule. I got a whole lot of questions about specifically what's going on here and how it impacts you. So, a little bit about me so that you kind of get a little bit of understanding as to why I'm here, what I'm doing, all this highfalutin larger place. I graduated college. President Reagan inspired me to join the Army. I built water and wastewater treatment facilities over in Thailand when the Cambodian refugees were coming over. Did that for a number of years, came over to work for the largest water treatment plant in Los Angeles, California. In 1990, I was appointed to Superior Court as a water master by a judge there. So I've been doing that for over 35 years. The judge introduced Aaron and I. The rest is history. I was the state attorney general's expert in the Flint, Michigan case. I've been in virtually every state on water and wastewater related issues. PFAS, what are we talking about here? Poly and perfluorinated substances. As Aaron kind of alluded, we've been talking about this for over 10 years. They keep changing the name on us. When I got involved in it originally, it was called C8 because of the carbon 8 chain. They moved that on to PFCs, perfluorinated compounds. We're talking about over 10,000 chemicals that are in commerce. Ladies, it's in your nail polish. It's why it glides on the way that it does. It's in contact lenses. It's in paint. It's in the cardboard boxes they put pizzas in so that it doesn't soak through. It's in the McDonald's wrap around your cheeseburger. Now they've changed the formula, but it's still the basic family of chemicals. It's fluorinated carbon molecules. The ones that they made for Teflon and Scotch-Guard and Stainmaster are so strong you cannot break them down. And you go and have to actually destroy the water coming out of a wastewater treatment plant, 374 degrees centigrade. Not Fahrenheit. That's hot. That's a lot of energy. It's man-made. They don't occur naturally. It's been used since the 40s. It was critical in the Manhattan Project, the big bomb for World War II. It can be, branched and unbranched. You'll hear people talk about short chain, long chain. So we're most concerned, PFOA and PFOS, they're the newly regulated compounds. They're an 8 chain. There's PFBS, which is a signature chemical for Stainmaster. You know where that comes from. That's a 3M chemical as well. It comes along as Scotch-Guard. That's a C6 compound. That's some of the new stuff we're starting to see out there. You might have heard about the Cape Fear River in North Carolina, Gen X. So they're coming up with new compounds all the time. There are actually over 10,000 named chemical compounds in this family. Here's the evidence that, the world has been talking about these chemicals. This is what we found in concentrations in the environment back in 1972. So anybody that wants to BS you that this is just new, unfunded federal mandates coming down upon you, we've been playing this game since before 1972 in the ecological and toxicological damage that's been going on. How are people exposed to PFAS? It's widespread. These man-made chemicals have leached into our soil, air, water, and people are most likely to be exposed to these chemicals by consuming PFAS-contaminated water or food. You heard Aaron talk about the milk, in Maine. Same thing happened in Clovis, New Mexico. What was happening is these chemicals follow the protein chain. They don't follow the carbohydrate chain. So you don't find them in potatoes, carrots, but you find them in alfalfa, something really green and leafy. And the cow eat the alfalfa, follows the protein chain, goes right into the milk. Pregnant mothers, nursing mothers, you're passing it on.
Those babies are created PFAS free. They raise to your level internally that you've been accumulating for 8.5 years in your body. And if you nourish, you pass it the correct way across. It was at 400 parts in the milk on the shelves in Maine. Okay? The drinking water regulation is 4 grains of sand in that bathtub. I'm going through this very, very quickly because I want you to have time to answer questions. But you guys have packets that you picked up, and there's a slide in there that looks just like this. And this is the most important to you. As we go around the country, chemicals get dumped into pits behind factories. They find their way to a community's drinking water well, and the rest is history. You have a very unique situation here that I'm going to explain to you that makes this unique and specific. What's happened in Northwest Georgia is unique and specific. So 3M makes these chemicals. They go to local manufacturers. We all know how that occurs. They are as much of a victim of 3M as you. Those chemicals made their way into the waste stream. They go over here to the wastewater treatment plant. The wastewater treatment plant sends those chemicals back to the rivers that the water comes from. So as you go down the river, the concentrations increase because what's being discharged to the river, becomes somebody's downstream drinking water. And then they put their wastewater in and it concentrates and goes up. All the way down to the Gulf of Mexico and Mobile, Alabama. Here's what's unique and specific to your area. The biosolids, okay? Wastewater treatment plants have solids. We all know what those solids are. They go to the bottom of the treatment plant. They get dewatered. When they're dewatered, they're put in either windrows. I've looked at the wastewater treatment plants all over Northwest Georgia, and you'll find windrows out there. Sometimes they get picked up by companies. They get put into bags, and they get sent to Home Depot, and you guys go buy it for $5 a bag, okay? Or Cousin Joe got a truckload of this fertilizer from the city, and they were giving it away. I want some too. And you got it dumped on your property, and your neighbor got it dumped on their property, and it's over there. What makes this unique and kind of difficult, Georgia didn't keep records. So there's not a lot of records of where it's at. There's a very concentrated site in Dalton that some of you might be aware of and some of you might not be aware of. But it's where people used to go and hunt and fish and kind of tool around with their trucks and things. You know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't need a deer out of there. In Maine, they actually give you a deer tag. You don't get to take that thing to the butcher shop and get your sausage. You take it in for a necropsy because they want to know the PFAS levels in that deer. You will be issued in Georgia, in Northwest Georgia, do not eat the fish and do not eat the deer. Those days are coming. And I'll tell you something else about Georgia that they did last month and what's going on at the federal level and what's going on at the state level. And what I'm telling you is happening so fast, it's mind-blowing. I used to give presentations on other chemicals historically, and I used to say, if you had a baby today, by the time that kid graduated college, I'd still be working on the maximum contaminant level for that particular chemical. They're doing it so fast now that it's been at light speed, and the states are picking up. Georgia issued a directive in August 2024. That was last month. And I'm going to explain that to you, but this is about these biosolids that get dumped on slot farms, alfalfa farms, your farms. It's all over this area. Goes on to the land, ends up in residential area. People ask me, how's it ended up in a residential area? I've been to sites all over. I've hiked your rivers, I've fallen in them, I've fallen down the banks, I've tested all over this place for the last 6 months. And let me tell you what I found. Levels as high as 800 in your larger rivers. 800. The drinking water standard is 4. Okay? And that means you're like thousands of times greater when you get to it. I've been to properties in this area over 4,000 parts. Okay? In their property ponds. Okay? It's coming out of springs. It's coming through creeks. If you have a creek-fed pond on your property, it's likely contaminated. If your neighbor has one. If your neighbor's a sod farm or an alfalfa farm or some guy that's doing corn occasionally, he pumps out of the river to irrigate, think of it as salt you're throwing on the dirt. Okay? You don't even have to have the biosolids, and it accumulates in the dirt. Fall comes and they disk it. It becomes airborne. shows up on your property. It rains on your property and goes into the storm drain. If it's over 4 parts per trillion at the property line, that's going to be your violation in 2029. State Georgia law, not U.S. federal law. Oops. Can't go backwards. Anyway, why is PFAS subject to regulation? Here's the part most of you are very concerned about. I met with the EPA administrator, and I said, why are you moving so fast? I said, when we do these toxicological testings, everything causes cancer. We all know that. Everything causes cancer. You take 20 years on every other regulation that causes cancer. Why are you moving so fast? Everything causes endocrine disruption, mutations in your endocrine system, your sexual organs, those are impacted by these chemicals. Everything causes that. Why are you moving so fast? This was the answer that he gave me. If you have a baby, what do we do at the 3rd month? We send them in for the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella. They're finding that because the PFAS levels in that infant are so high that there is a lack in immunological response, meaning that the shot that's supposed to cause an immune reaction is less effective because in effect, we've scotch-guarded their blood. There's a study that came out 6 weeks ago. It's not even on this list because it's so new. It's getting in the baby's digestive tract and curbing off their ability to absorb nutrients. Okay? When you spill a glass of wine on a white carpet, you're pretty excited about the fact you can go over and wipe it up. Imagine doing that to your children's stomach line. They're not getting the nutrients through that crap. So it does cause hypercholesterol. They're finding out, back to that endocrine system, it's actually tricking the body into making that cholesterol. So many of us have seen those commercials. Is it the Frankfurter or Uncle Frank? No, it might be this. Does cause liver damage, or liver enzymes. It does cause thyroid function issues, endocrine disruption, reproductive toxicology, testicular cancers off the charts with this stuff. It does cause developmental toxicity and decreased birth weight. These are all real things that are causing the government to respond so rapidly to regulation. I didn't even get into, I'm trying to rapidly fire this at you, allow them to come out with questions. PFOA and PFOS under CERCLA, 2 months ago, hazardous waste now. Meaning even if you took your dirt and said, I'm going to take it to the dump, you can't take it to a regular dump in Northwest Georgia. It's got to go hazardous waste landfill now. Bioaccumulation. This is an important concept, and another reason why they're moving so fast. If you went out and somebody spilled gasoline in your well, you drank some BTEX, benzene, ethylene, toluene, xylene, drank some gas in your water, your body would divest itself of it. You'd waste it out, okay? You'd go in your liver would do your jobs, and you get rid of the chemicals, okay? With PFAS, they actually bioaccumulate. So today I consume 1, tomorrow I consume 1. Now I have 2 in my body for 8.5 years. 3, 4, 5, 6. It accumulates in your body. It's accumulating in our food chain. The little minnows in the creek get eaten by the bigger fish. They get eaten by the bigger fish. By the time it gets in the big fish, not only are they consuming it themselves in the water that they're swimming in, but their food source has it. So it's just a compounding factor. And then God forbid we go home and we eat that fish. That's about bioaccumulation. On April 19, 2024, the US EPA announced that it was designating 2 types of PFAS, PFOA and PFOS, as hazardous substances. I cannot overemphasize the meaning of that. Okay? That goes to the Clean Water Act, that goes to the Safe Drinking Water Act, that goes to RCRA, CERCLA, all of the legislation in this country and Georgia specific. It's important to understand. You don't unring that bell. All these things that are going through the Supreme Court now, once something's designated hazardous waste, it is forevermore. Ban on biosolids. The US EPA has not established a numerical limit for monitoring and reporting for PFAS. In 2021, the roadmap, in 2023, the roadmap through the EPA administration. By winter of 2024, That's how many weeks away? Okay, we're going to get some numbers out. I will tell you, there are cases right now by the retired EPA employees and the retired state administrators who are suing EPA for not getting that number out fast enough. It's coming, winter 2024. So what I'm trying to express to you is whether you like it or not, whether you feel directly impacted or not, saying, oh, I don't drink the water, I don't buy the water, you know, I don't eat the vegetables around here. If you've got contaminated land, now has hazardous waste on it. Think about the meaning of that. And furthermore, if you've got any biosolids on it, whether it came from you or a neighbor, you got a real problem. August 1st, 2024. I jumped my gun here on my own slide. Must not exceed the maximum panel levels for drinking water in accordance with the chapters or whatever. What that means is if the water leaving your property, going back into a creek, onto a road, onto your neighbor's property, exceeds 4 parts per trillion, the drinking water standard, tag, you're it. Okay? Meaning you're subject to a fine. All the cities and counties in the United States are subject to the Clean Water Act and actually have to monitor stormwater discharges. They looked at, things historically as there's too much sediment going back to the river. You've probably heard those claims before. Now they're going to actually be measuring for PFAS at property line. EPA didn't write this. EPA said they're coming out with their number in the winter of 2024. The state of Georgia issued this August 1st, 2024. They're ahead of the feds. Anyway, with that, I will bring Ben back up. I know I blew through that, but I want to be very, very specific about what's going on in your area. I want to make sure everybody understands that slide right there, because that's what makes you unique. They've spread this stuff all over this region, and it's going to take decades to clean it up.
No company pays $10 billion, $12 billion. They didn't do something, right? So this is something I think that drives this point home. So this was a case that they filed in South Carolina in federal court against 3M by all these cities. This was filed in 2018. They consolidated these cases in federal court. 3M agreed to pay $12.5 billion of settlement related to this, and this article was April 1st of 2024. So it gives you kind of an indication of what we're dealing with. And there's the actual lawsuit. And you can see this paragraph 4, number 1, settlement amount. 3M is agreed to pay an amount not less than $10,500,000 and not $500,000 and not more than $12,500,000. Okay, so that's 3M related to this type of claim. Now, Rome is will receive $75 million. They're going to pay the city of Rome for this, right? Because of Rome advancing a claim against 3M. City of Rome, again, in PFAS pollution settlement, 3M company will pay the city of Rome $75 million. And so it begs the question here, who has a claim and who all are claimants outside of cities and municipalities? Well, claimants include any landowner in this room or any landowner in northwest Georgia that has 1 acre of land or more would have a claim because your property has been damaged and there's a devaluation, there's a diminished value associated with property, and there needs to be, this needs to be cleaned up. So another would be a business owner. I mentioned that if you have a business and you're an organic farmer and you've lost your organic designation, if you are a poultry producer and you've been affected in some way with regard to this, there are measurable damages that would flow from that. But you could have almost any business that would be impacted in some way related to the contamination. Others would be farmers, and we've got a lot of farmers that with biosolids have been put out across their properties. Recreational land uses in individuals. And individuals here, I can tell you, have claims. Each of you potentially would have a claim. And I'll share with you not any one specific information, but I'll share with you some things that have been revealed from the cards and the information and the questions that you all have asked of us while you've been here. So these are the individuals. The claims will be based on violations of Georgia law, which we're very familiar with. I've been practicing here for 33 years. And under Georgia law are standards of negligence per se, the Georgia Water Quality Act, product liability and failure to warn theories would be attached as well as trespass and nuisance. If you trespass on somebody's property and you put PFAS on it in the ways that they have and it creates a nuisance or it's a trespass, that is a claim under Georgia law. Abatement and injunctive relief, remediation, and the property value are part of the damages. Now, one of the things that is disturbing is that we have seen a connection related to a number of cancers that people have received. And so cancers, fertility problems, birth defects, and fear of injury in the future. And I will share with you here that a number of you all have shared with us that there is a predominance of liver cancer. There are a number of folks that have liver cancer, or have a family member or friend or loved one that may have that. And there are other cancers that we've seen. Cervical cancers, we've seen testicular cancers, we've seen issues related to renal failure. And there is evidence that there is a causal connection between PFAS as a contaminant and that. We've seen birth defects, we've seen issues where fertility clinics that have made it clear that there are problems related to that. There are studies that show by 2050, a third of men in the United States may be sterile. Think about that for a minute, right? The Bible says go out and multiply, right? A third of the men in the country in 2050, based on some predictions, could be sterile if we don't do something related to PFAS. Now, I look at this, that's 26 years from now, some people say. I got my 40-year high school reunion, as I told y'all, coming up next month. And if you think about a buddy of mine, we graduated from high school in 1984, talking about, that's 40 years ago. Because, 40 years before that was 1944, and they were fighting World War II. That's how fast it goes. That's how fast it goes. And I don't know how much runway any of us have left, but we've got to do something now to correct it. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to join the fight. We're going to join the fight, and we're going to band together, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. If you go to your packet, if you all have a packet on you, you all have it in front of you? All right, take that out, if you will. Okay, open it up. And you'll go to the section, look to the right, if you will. Let me just show you to the right. You'll see the filling firm. Look for our logo on a piece of paper. Look for that in the back. Yes, sir, right there. You got it. Right there. Right there. Filling firm. See that right there? And you see these others. All right. What this does is this, if you would like to, this would allow you to authorize us to test your water, test your land, test whatever you would like to do. And this is just an attorney fee contract. And you would just sign this and return it to us whenever you're comfortable with it. And if you don't want to, it's completely fine. But it's as simple and easy as 1, 2, 3. What you'll see, all you got to do is sign up or click to get started. We'll schedule time to come test your water. We do this at no charge. We do this and we'll provide you with results within a couple of weeks. So it's at no cost to anyone. And we will provide you with the results for free. So if you want us to do it, we're happy to do it. Obviously, no cost, and we'll do that for you. And we'll bring and provide you with the results, of that testing. So again, it's very, very easy. It's very simple. It doesn't cost anything. There's no risk. And in my view, if your property's fine, your water's fine, and your test comes back negative, that would be phenomenal. That's wonderful. And you got peace of mind to know that there's no issue with that, with respect to you, your house, your business, whatever it may be. If it's contaminated, then there's some things that we can talk about that can help with remediation, with purification issues, and other things we can do to help, and advice we can provide. But you have peace of mind. But I think, as I said before, really it's about education. It's about letting people know, and it's an understanding of the issue, and we think that it's fair, and it's right, and it's just for people to understand and to know and be aware if there's a problem or not. So that's obviously here. It's about awareness at town hall meetings like this, and I encourage you when you leave here today to go out and tell your friends and your neighbors and everybody you know about the seriousness of this, and there are folks that want to help. We got questions and answers. Y'all have been filling out questions. We're gonna answer those, and then we're gonna interview And then after that, we will be here, and Aaron will be here, and we will not leave until the last person leaves. So if you want to come talk to me, you want to talk to Aaron, you want to talk to Bob, any of our people, remember our people are around the room if you want to schedule an appointment with us. If you'd like to come to our office, come see us at 517 Benjamin Way here, in Dalton, not here in Chatsworth, but our office is in Dalton, and come by and set up an appointment or come see us anytime, and we'll help and we'll answer any questions that you may have. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Nick right now, because I think you've got the questions, don't you?
Questions for you, Mayor? Yeah. Give them back, turn it on really quick. Drum roll. Mike, Billy.
I'm going to try this one. Yeah, well, there we go. I don't know if you guys want to hear my voice anymore. Probably don't, because Alabama accent is probably where it is. But guys, I just want to thank you so much for being here tonight. The response has been incredible. I know it's a tough thing to even discuss, right? Lawsuits are scary. Lawsuits aren't fun. No one wants to do that, right? But sometimes they're needed. When you're backed into a corner, sometimes you got to fight your way out, okay? I cannot thank you enough for these questions. I have over 100 in my hand. We have hundreds more on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm going to ask 3 quick questions, really quick, of Aaron, Bob, and Ben. And then what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to break out so that each and every one of you can meet directly with them, and you can ask your questions directly to them. So the first question is, how do you get our drinking water, which is city water, tested? Let's get Bob up here for that. We need Bob to answer that.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Come on, Bob.
Okay. I think I made it C in high school biology. I don't think that's
Here we go. Okay, I heard the question coming in. Will we test city water? We actually, when we meet with you, we can tell you what city water is. It's different seasonally and it's different community by community. What I mean by that is when I give my explanation. So I'm going to answer the question for you. The good news is most of the treatment plants, if not all, in the area are currently testing treatment methods to employ the best treatment technology for that water quality. I know Chatsworth's doing it. I know Dalton's made some changes that have taken a lot of PFAS out. Calhoun's working on it. Rome just approved their right location for their treatment plant 10 days ago. So it's happening. Pardon?
10 days ago, they done it.
Rome did it 10 days ago. I ain't gonna get into local politics, but I'll tell you, the politicians were fighting over where. You know about that? It's been in the papers, okay? They made the right decision and it's getting built. And it was 10 days ago because I got the phone. So I'm very concerned with your local community drinking water. They're getting it under control. You do have it. We know where it's at. I don't want to go into seasonally it's getting better. And hopefully by next year it should be all gone in the community drinking water system. But you do have community drinking water systems in this area within 20 miles that is over 100 parts.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. This next question is for Aaron. Aaron, this question says, are springs, wells, and ponds as effective as rivers?
Yes, Bob's a better source. I can answer it, but it is in the springs and the rivers and the ponds, and we're seeing that everywhere. I don't know that I should even bring it up, but yeah, okay. Answer is yes. I'll make it simple.
Bob's not going to
I'm going to answer it real quick. Forever chemicals accumulate. Think of it, if you're just running a sprinkler and you're pumping out of a river or a creek, it's like salt on the ground. So where is it going to be the worst? In your ponds. Unless that pond gets scoured and drained regularly, it accumulates. I have tested a pond within 10 miles of here that's over 4,000 pounds. Ponds are the permanent sink for forever. The creeks will run seasonally. Rivers run seasonally. Okay? When the river's down, the groundwater goes into the river and the river rises a little bit. When the river's running, the groundwater gets replenished. So it's a living system, and that's why I say it changes seasonally. But I will tell you, based on the volume in the Conestoga River, finding 800 parts with that volume flowing in the spring scares me, and I do this all over the world.
Next. Great, thank you so much, Bob. So the answer is yes. Streams, wells, ponds, we're looking into all of those, so please contact our office. We'll be happy to come out and test that well at completely free of charge, which leads me into the next question for this one's for Ben. And then, like I said, we're going to break out into groups so that you can all ask questions of these three world-class experts directly. But Ben, how much does this cost?
I mean, it doesn't cost anyone in here anything. It is, we will do the testing. If you authorize us to do it, we can't just go to your property and test it without your authorization. But if you choose to advance a claim in any respect, we would handle the matter on a contingency fee basis, meaning that we don't charge you, we don't bill you, you don't get a bill from us. If there's no recovery, we don't get paid. Our fee is contingent on a recovery. So there's never a situation where you'll write a check or it'll have to come out of pocket for anything. We'll front all the expert fees and we'll retain Bob and we'll advance that claim on your behalf. If you choose to retain us and we choose to accept the case, obviously. But I don't want people to find there to be any financial impediment to this and not be in any way discouraged by it, because we're here to help in that way in any way we can.
Great, thank you, Ben. One thing, guys, really quick, our water testers wear the deer hunting orange shirts. So all you guys, if you see them on your land, please don't shoot them, right? I'm a deer hunter, so I appreciate that. But thank you all so much to Ben, Aaron, and Bob. You did a great job. We're going to be here until every single question is asked. So I cannot thank you again enough. Guys, we're going to go ahead and dismiss at this time and break out in groups. Thank you.
Yeah, and our people are around. Thank you all for